I idolized my father until I realized he was cheating on my mother, as he found true love in the form of a single mom. But now he's mad at us for cutting him out of our lives forever. I, 17 male, and the oldest child in my family. Throughout my life, I always loved my father and idolized him, to the point where making him proud was my whole life's purpose. In 2019, he had to immigrate to Europe to prepare for our life there and for us to leave our homeland forever in 2022. We finally reunited with him, and from there I thought it was the end of our struggles. But then, after just 2 years, he started acting funny. He got a job as a hotel driver, and from there, he changed completely. He stopped hanging out with me and my sister, 15 female. He started coming home late, only eating and sleeping. We felt so distant, like he was trying to stay away from the house. My mother was the first to notice this, and slowly their relationship began to break down. One day I had a beach hangout with school, but when I was preparing, I heard shouting. It was my parents fighting. Apparently, my father had cheated on my mom with a single mom from Morocco, who had 2 kids, 13 male and 6 female, since last January. All this time he had been spending time with this woman. Then my father, out of wrath, grabbed my mother's arm so hard that it wounded her badly, blocking blood flow. It got to the point where she picked something sharp to defend herself and said, "If you don't get out of my effing house, I will end you." And so he did. It was a hard thing to process, and after this event, 2 months later, he slowly started drifting away from our family responsibilities, like paying bills, school fees, etc. And it became obvious he no longer loved us. The annoying part is that he claims he still loves me and my sister and will always be with us. We are not dumb enough to believe him because if he actually did, then he would at least participate in our responsibilities. I feel so lied to, so manipulated. I idolized this man. I saw him as my ultimate guide on how to win in life, and now he is nothing but a lustful man who will go for any woman who isn't my mother. Thankfully, we are in a much better state now, especially my mother. We accepted that he is gone as if dead, even began claiming that my father is pure dead if somebody asks. However, from time to time, he still tries to contact me and my sister, and I don't know what to do. I also want to mention that my mother can easily file an order against him for assault using the photo she took of the wound he gave her, as well as some threats in their old chats. But because all of us are devout Christians, my mother had mercy on him and refused to press any charges. They are still not officially divorced, and I don't know what to do about it. If anybody wants any information or has any advice for my situation, then I would truly appreciate it. Thank you. Relevant comments. Comment 1. I am sorry for the crappy situation that your father's actions put you and your family in, and I commend you all for coming together to protect your mother's safety and dignity and trying to succeed in life. I also understand the strong urge to let sleeping dogs lie and not pursue a divorce between your parents due to the discomfort and unpleasantness that facing him again would entail. However, in addition to what the previous commenter said about forgiveness, not meaning you don't hold someone accountable for their actions, please also consider the legal ramifications of your mother continuing to stay married to him. I'm not sure which country you live in, but being the legally married spouse of a person gives the other spouse several rights and privileges. For example, if your parents who owned the house you live in, and your mother passed away suddenly in an accident without leaving a last will and testament, your father would automatically inherit title to the house. Or if your mother were to get seriously ill to the point where she was hospitalized and unable to make decisions, your father is the spouse, might get the right to make such decisions on her behalf, including whether or not to disconnect life support systems, etc., ahead of you or your sister. The above are just some scenarios and may not be accurate based on where you live. But that's all the more reason for you and your mother to consult a divorce lawyer and at least talk through the pros, cons, and ramifications of choosing to stay married versus suing for divorce. Good luck, and I hope things turn out for the best for you. Response: the house isn't owned by us. It's rented from my father's friend, to whom we pay a monthly amount. We all live in Spain, but my parents were married in the homeland Egypt, so their marriage is only recognized on paper and can be undone by divorce. However, in one of your scenarios, if my mother were hospitalized or even died without a divorce, my sister and I would legally be forced to live with him since he still holds custody. Right now, we aren't financially ready to file for divorce, nor do we know how it works in Spain. But my mother is thankfully considering divorce when the time comes, though she is sadly not considering filing a police report, and I don't know why. 1. Comment 2. I'm a Christian, and I urge you to consider that forgiveness does not mean freedom from consequences. Forgiveness is a gift that is given to someone who repents and changes their ways. But failing to hold someone accountable who is not repented and changed only gives them a license to further harm others. I firmly believe this is not God's intention, as it does nothing to further the kingdom of heaven on earth. Consider your safety and your mother's safety. Pursue the order. Response: thank you for clarifying. I should probably tell my mom the same thing, but from a logical perspective, he isn't living with us and he has no information on us or the house. He does still have the keys to the house, sure, but nonetheless, he hasn't been a harm to us after the incident. This incident happened in June 2024, so it would be just a useless effort considering we have other problems to deal with. But thank you so much for your advice. Update: hello everyone. Last month I made a post about how my father left me and my family for a single mother and how he's mad that I don't love him anymore. Well, sadly, this isn't a positive update. It turns out my father hasn't been paying my sister's school bills since last month. And all this time the school kept my sister out of pity. But now it's getting very serious. It's been proven over and over again that he isn't involved in our lives and needs. The logical conclusion would be to file a report against him for child negligence. However, because we are so financially stuck, it's sickening. I try my best to stay strong for both of them, but I don't know how much more I can take. To add insult to injury, he gets offended when I disrespect him and ghosted me for disrespecting your father. At this point, I want to choke him to his end. I don't know how we can stand on our feet in order to file for divorce and make him pay. I'm sorry that the update wasn't positive. Also, thanks to everyone who advised us to consider divorce. My mother has finally agreed to it, but sadly still refuses to report him to the police for the assault back in June. The case would likely be dropped anyway, and like I said, we don't have the money. Again, thank you to everyone who was concerned, and I promise to provide any updates in the future.